Hello. So did you saw? Today we are going to create a no sprite animation. What is it no sprite animation? It means we are not going to create any sprite. We will create the drawings using the shapes that we have learned, like rectangle, creating a rectangle, ellipse, square or circle only, and we will give it a motion. So during this, we will revise a lot of concepts like the variables, how do we use variables, how do we relatively use variables and make the car which we have drawn using the variables and using the shapes move in a particular direction. Okay, so let's get started. Open a new project in gamelab. Okay, open a new project in gamelab and create this drawing. This is a simple drawing in which what I have done, I have created this background sky blue. I have chosen no stroke because I do not want this grass to have any stroke. I created this grass. Simple commands which you guys are already aware. Fill and rectangle. Then using this ellipse command, I have created the sun in yellow color. Okay, I have also created this car using the changing the color to red and creating two rectangles. These are the two rectangles placed on top of each other. Okay, so you already know the coordinates. This is 0, 0. And as we go down, y coordinate increases. And as we go right, the x coordinate increases. So this is basically 400, 400. And this position is 0, 0. Accordingly, we use these coordinates in our commands, rectangle and ellipse, and we have created these grass, sun, and car. Now comes the car wheels. For this, again, I have changed the fill and now I have given a stroke. You can see if you want to give it a stroke or how you want it to look like. And these two ellipses. Okay, if you want to revise rectangle and ellipses, how do we do that? Here is a video. You can check it out and revise these concepts. One thing when you are doing this exercise, you need to make sure that first you create the only picture. You just create only picture without using variables or animation and then use the variable to put an animation on it. Okay, so what we will have to do? First thing what I want you guys to do is do everything relatively. Relatively means, say for example, see this car. This car, x coordinate is 110, 100, sorry. Okay. And y is 260. Here, x coordinate is 130 and y coordinate is 230. Okay. So it's like this is my x coordinate here and y coordinate 100 and 260, and this is 130 and 230, this one, yeah, two rectangles we have created. So what I will have to do, if this rectangle is moving in right, this should also move in right with the same speed. So first thing that we will have to make sure is, instead of using these numbers here, I will use the variables. So what we will do, we will create the variables. Say for example, let's name this as rectangle 1. Just, for your purpose, name it as rectangle 2 so that you understand that which x coordinate is for which. Now we need to notice one thing. This is 100 and this is 130. So whenever this 100 is changing, this 130 should also always change by 30. Okay, there should not be a scenario that this is 110 and it becomes 150. No, if it is becoming 110, this should also become 140. So always change by 30. Then only this movement will be smooth. Okay, so we will use variables to do this. I am going to create a variable rectangle 1 x coordinate is equals to 100. Okay, now instead of 100, I will use here rectangle 1 x coordinate, this variable. Okay, and now using this variable, we will give a relative position to this as well. So for another rectangle 2, I am not going to create a new variable, what I will do, I will rather say rectangle 1 x plus 30 plus 30. Okay, rectangle 1 x plus 30. So what will happen this way? If this is drawn at 100, another rectangle will automatically be drawn at 130. Let's reset and run it, that it should not break anything for us. Okay, now when we want this card to move in right direction, what do we want? We want the x coordinates to change while the y coordinates remains as it is. So I'm not going to touch these y coordinates for now. What I will do, I'm not going to touch these y coordinates. While what we will do here, we will change this rectangle 1x coordinate. We will probably increase it by 3 and see what happens. X, okay. This was the error because rect1 variable was not defined. Okay, so do you see now we have given this drawing a motion so that the body, because we have just worked on these two rectangles as of now. We have not worked on these wheels. So only the body is moving ahead. No, so now let's give the same motion to these wheels as well. So they are my wheels. And we need to do the same thing for wheels as well. For wheels, we have this 130 and this is 190. So I will take variables here. Variable wheel x. And for wheels also, only my x coordinate is going to change. So I am not worried about y coordinate. You can either take them as variables or you can simply keep them as it is as well. What is important is x variable because my x position is going to change. Okay, so I made this variable of wheel x 130 and here instead of 130 I will use wheel x. Wheel x and here wheel x plus 60 because it was 190 earlier. So I will use wheel x plus 60. Let's see what happens. Okay, no change. But what I will have to do now, I will have to change the wheel position also with the same pixels. Okay, so here we are shifting with each time this draw function is ran, we are changing this rectangle 1 position by 3. So similarly, we will also have to change the wheel position by 3. Why it is important that we change it by same proportion? So that the wheels moves along with car. Otherwise, wheels will go with some other direction, with some other speed, and car will go with some other direction, some other speed. So let me run it and show it. Okay, so we have given the movement to our car, entire car. But now one thing, this car is going beyond the screen. How do we make sure that this car actually loops? Okay, so again, what comes into picture? Our if condition. We will put a if condition here. If first on this rectangle 1, if this rectangle 1 x becomes greater than, say for example, 450. What do we want? It should loop back. Loop back means my rectangle x again becomes, say for example, minus 50. Why I have taken it as minus 50? Because I want this car is, looks like coming from inside. So rectangle 1. So let's see how does it works. Okay, so the car's body is coming. We still need to apply the same logic on wheels so that the wheels and the body of the car comes together. So same thing I will apply with my wheels as well. If wheel x, say for example, greater than 450, so initial value of rectangle 1 is 100 and wheel x is 30. It means 130. It means rectangle 1 x and wheel x has a gap of 30. So same thing I will have to consider here also. When I am resetting this to minus 30, I will have to reset this to minus 20. So let's run and see. Okay, so there is some problem in resetting VLX position. So I am thinking another way. I am actually thinking that we should have the VLX position also relative to rectangle X position. We should not define a new variable as VLX, because otherwise the manipulation may become a little difficult. So my VLX was initially 130 and my rectangle X is 100. So here only I will keep it as rectangle 1 X plus 130, and this will become rectangle 1X plus rectangle 1X plus 90. Okay, 30 and 90. So we don't want this line. We also don't want this condition there. Let me run it. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect now. So what we have done here, we have taken just one variable, rectangle 1, okay, and according to this variable only, we created one rectangle, relative positions. If I wanted here a 130, I make it rectangle 1x plus 30. And if I wanted here 130 and 190, I make it rectangle 1x plus 30 and plus 90. How does it help? It helps when I am moving the car together and only one variable is involved. I can play with that only one variable like this. I can change it, and accordingly all the shapes will shift its positions. Okay, the way it is happening for this car. I am using only one variable, rectangle 1x, according to which I have placed all other coordinates for the wheel and the other rectangle as well. And when we manipulate this rectangle 1, the entire car moves. Now we also want this sun to move backwards. Yes, if the car is moving towards right, the sun should definitely move backwards, because this is how we will be able to show the relative movement. Okay, so same thing we will do here as well. Instead of, let me remove this commented line. When we are creating the sun, where we are creating the sun, we are creating the sun here. Okay, I'm using coordinate 350. Instead, I will use it as a variable. I will use this as variable x 350. Instead of variable 350, I will use here sun x. And now we will play with this variable sun x. The value of the sun x will keep on changing. Why we are not playing with any of the y variable? Because we want to make it horizontal movement. And when there is a horizontal movement, only x-axis changes. If we draw something that is falling down, say for example, in this case, same thing we will have to do with y variable. Because my y variable will move while x coordinate will remain same. Okay, so before that we will have to say sun x is equals to sun x minus, because we want this to go backwards, minus 2. And now because it is going backward in this direction, I will check if sun x is less than, say for example, minus 50. We want to place it back to the original position, or maybe a little further away. I can probably put it at 400. And let's see how does it works. Okay, so my sun is going backward, my car is going forward. I really like this session. We are making our drawings move. So do try it out and let me know how did you like it. See you soon. Bye-bye.